right side up. Bring them upside down. That's it. All right, we are live. Let's see. As I mentioned, we were going to decide, I don't care how you do the test. If you want to do it on computer, would you all be able to bring your computer into here? Would you want to take it on a computer?
It doesn't work all the time, so that's why I say it's paper.
Okay, if you have a non-working computer, then we won't bother. We're only going to do something that everybody has the capability of doing. Another question I have for you is, does anybody have to leave right at 7:15 to your next thing? Because none of these tests have been designed for an hour and 15 minutes. I could make them that way if you want me to. But otherwise, I'll just let you keep going until 8 o'clock if that's okay with you.
I'm
Okay. And if you had to be out at 7:15, I could shorten the test. The problems would be worth more each problem, you know what I'm saying? All right, so it sounds to me like we're gonna do it on paper. Well, that's good in the sense that you have old tests to look at, to practice, to use as your guide. Yeah, these old tests. And these tests, I usually make up, they're tests that I've been using forever. So let's grab something from spring 2023. You can see I've got the tests and everything. I have the final. Oh, that's right. I had a computer hard drive issue. So no, I do not have the final for this class, but everything leading up to it. Anyways, you can go into old tests. You can see I have them for several years. You can practice as much as you want. I usually have the answers to them in there. Okay. All right, so we'll go with and you can check your solutions against these. What we'll do, because I don't, reviewing for it, you don't have as much time to do, I don't think I'm going to have enough time to do all of the problems. With that said, when you look at the ones that are on here, I'm going to show you if each problem will have, like this, A, B, C, and D, several problems in it. When you look at any of these, if there's any of these or all of them that you want me to do, we'll do whatever we can for review. Well, at the point I'm saying, we'll run into time issue is I'll run out of the course. I mean, we'll run out of time before I finish the test is what I'm saying. So
Can we do C again?
see, yeah.
Is it when you're dividing fractions? I can't remember.
Okay. So let me go and do here. We'll start a new. You got these tabs get overwhelming. They take up so much of the resources. I got to cancel a couple of these. Start here. Okay, so this was what, from spring 2023?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, to remind you, when you divide a fraction by a fraction, first of all, do you know what happens when you have a negative divided by a negative?
Positive.
Right, so we got that part, it's positive. Now, do you remember what happens when you divide a fraction by a fraction? No, we don't need to count it on there at all.
You have to change the division to multiplication.
That's right, and what do you do? Make that happen.
Last time you reversed them.
Or in math, we like to call it reciprocal. You heard that word before?
Yes.
5/12, since there's no negatives, I'm canceling them out. Multiplication, 16 over 50. Now you also find that before you multiply it all out, you might find it easy to simplify while you're here. For example, look at that 5. Just look at the 5 on the top. Is there anything down in the denominators that have 5 in them.
the 15.
The 15, so what I do, what I normally do, I'm simplifying, I'll write something like this. 5 goes into 5 once, 5 goes into 15 3 times. Now, with that said, is there any other kinds of simplifying you think that I can do?
You can put 4 into 12 and 16.
That's right, the 12 and the 16, you can cancel the 4 out. 4 goes into 16 4 times, and 4 goes to the 12 3 times. Now, you're prepared to do the answer. 1 times 4 is 4, and you know it's gonna be simplified, because you've already canceled everything. In the bottom, 3 times 3 is equal to 9.
I got one question.
Yeah.
That's a negative 5, well,
Right.
divided by negative. So that's why you had canceled out the 2 negatives.
Mhm. Negative divided by negative is positive. It works, it's the same rules as multiplication. Pop back down and see if we see another one that we like the looks of. We can always double back if we get through a lot and pick up things if we get done with the important stuff early. Should I move on, or do you want to, anyone else want to pick?
Now, when you got brackets, you don't have to do the answer. No,
These are nothing more than parentheses.
okay.
Brackets are the same as parent. Column, I think a better term is to use is grouping symbols. How about this here? Evaluating an expression where you have to plug in the numbers. You want me to try it, or do you want to try it? What? You want me to try it?
It's 4.
Yeah, you can do it in the same time I'm doing it then. I was trying to be really efficient in this review session. The initial substitution looks like that, and you gotta get those in there.
Yeah, 49.
I'll do the steps. So I get 45 divided by 15?
Yeah.
And if you don't know that equals 3. You'll almost certainly be tasked with simplifying your answer, so keep that in mind. So you see right there, simplify your answer as much as possible. Just, you might as well just get used to it, because you're always gonna be asked to do that anyways. Ready for the next? Okay.
Yes.
All right, let's see what we have next. Translating into an equation. Do we want to do a translation problem? See these problems, we got some word problems coming. That's the ones we really want to make sure we spend some time on. So you said you wanted to see this one? Okay. It doesn't tell you actually have to solve it.
Doing not solve it.
Nope, that was not required. It's an easy equation to solve if you were to have to do it.
So it's 9 plus
And well, equals is pretty, they equals 8 is pretty easy, isn't it? That's really easy. That part's easy. But what about this stuff on the left? 9 plus 3x, or it actually comes in this form, 9 plus x times 3, doesn't it? But you can see 3x, same thing. So this is it. That's really all you had to do is it. You can, and just be careful, 9 more, all of the things you can generally write underneath of the equations except when it comes to subtraction. That always seems to throw things off. Or we have 9 less than, you don't write 9 minus, you write minus 9. Ready? All right, now let's get those word problems. I'll put them up and then we'll talk about it. Do you guys want to try it or do you want me just to go into it?
I'm trying.
You want to try it? All right, remember the mantra in here, right now as it stands. Whenever you're doing a problem, if there's more than one unknown quantity, you only want to use one letter to be used for all quantities.
We have to actually figure it out.
What's that?
Do we have to actually figure out how many cheeseburgers and?
Oh, yeah. That's what the last part of it is. It actually wants to know how many hamburgers were sold. All right, well, let's do a little review as I watch you attempt. Something must be xable here. What would you assign x to? That's the thing you're going to be looking for. Usually the question mark is a really good place to try to decide where to assign an x.
3 times. 3 times 3x.
Okay? But what is the question asking you to find?
How many hamburgers?
How many hamburgers? Stop. Why don't we let that be x? The exact thing you're trying to find, you call x. So that's what I would do, is I would let the number of hamburgers equal x. By the way then, how many cheeseburgers are there using that exact same letter?
X.
We know they didn't sell the same amount of each one, don't we?
So that's 3x.
That's right. Well,
I mean, the cheeseburgers would be 3x.
yeah.
So 3
Oh,
times.
yeah, sorry. All right, then, all right, there's 2 ways to go about it. I'll go with this. I was prepared to go slightly different. Fine. What are you gonna do with these numbers then, these things?
4x, because you combine like terms.
So you add them together, and that's gonna be what?
4x equals 524.
So. Total. Right here, of 524 hamburgers. That tells us we have, or. Let me, I circled too much. That really. I should have just said total. 524. All right, because we know it consists of hamburgers. That's the hamburgers, right? Plus the 3x, which is the cheeseburgers. And that equals a total of how many? 500. So you're right, 4x equals 524. And what do we do now?
Divide by 4 on both sides.
Divide by 4 on both sides. then you can find 131.
Yep.
And you don't have to do anything else because I let X be the thing it was asking it for. So how many hamburgers were sold? 131 of them. Okay. Let's hit the wrong thing. There we go. How about this one? This is a pretty, it's not a hard one. Try to take a minute, just try to set it up and then we'll talk about it. These are the ones, these percentage questions like this, you can set up an equation directly underneath of the question.
Percentage, you would put the percentage sign.
That's not what I did. I got an answer and then converted it to a percent. I don't think you'd want to work in percent while you're doing a problem. You want to convert at the end, I think. Oh, once again, the thing that you're being asked, good idea to call it X. Oh, what does it mean in this world?
Divided?
No.
Fair.
Is pretty evident, I hope. Well, it means times is equals. And for these problems, those are the only two things you need to know. The sentence will create the equation for you. To get this thing done, what do we do?
Divide by 80 on both sides.
Divide both sides by 80. Now let your calculator do the work. It'll give you a decimal.
0.15.
What do you say?
0.15.
0.15, 0.15. Now convert that to a percent.
It's 50%.
Right, 2 decimal places is the way to move it. And you get your 15%. In a way, to me, that's kind of like, as a word problem goes, it's as simple as they're going to get. Because everything is right there, you know exactly what to do right underneath it. I can't create a sentence, a question like this, without it being made up like this. I can't even make one up that doesn't use these exact words. All right, that's 2 word problems. Equations. All right, let's take a look at some equations. Let's first start with any that you would like to try. Let me get a gander of what's left in this. We got another word problem. Do you want to do these word problems first and do the equations?
I just want to copy them.
Remember, I'll post this stuff.
Oh,
You don't have to copy anything. I'll post everything.
okay.
This is in there. Remember, this is from spring 2023.
Okay, so I go into your
Blackboard.
Blackboard.
And I'll post this lesson today too. Let's see here. That's up to you. You guys are permitted to do what you want. It's your class. Do you want to do some of these before we get to word problems? Or you want to get the word problems and get them done with and then come back to this?
Like, I could use it on the bottom. D.
Eat what letter?
D. As in dog.
Okay, D. There's a way of working, if you have fractions, there's a way of working these problems so that you don't have to deal with the fractions. Do you remember what that is?
Unknown denominator?
Right, what would be an LCD in this problem?
Oh,
Multiply everything by 4. Try it, see if it makes it really easy.
wouldn't it be by 2?
No, 2 wouldn't clear out the 3/4.
Well, but if you multiply 15 and 2 by 2 and then 9 and 2 by 2, so.
Yeah. You could do, so you could do it like this. You could think of that as -30 minus 3y equals -18y, if that's what you're thinking of. When I do it, you'll see it easier.
Try it.
Yeah, give it a shot. So multiply by 4, see if, I promise, it does work.
So when I get to the 3/4, I'm gonna do 4, I can cancel the 2 4s. And just,
That's right, that's the whole point of it. And it'll clear out the 2's also.
since you said-
I'll give you a small piece of bonus too later. I would technically myself, I would multiply everything by -4. You understand possibly why I would choose -4 and not just 4?
Rather than be,
Yeah, everything's negative right now, isn't it? I don't know that. So here's what we get then. We're gonna have 4. You can call it 4/1. If you like that better, call it 4/1 if that makes you feel better. A lot of students feel like that is more comfortable to them. And so the reason why it cancels everything out, you can see it takes these 2 out because of this. 2 goes in the 4 twice. So that will give me a 30 for that piece. These 4s will cancel out. See, if you had just done 2, this wouldn't cancel all the way. You follow me? And so you needed to have 4 for that. So we get 3y for that piece. And then the last part, I will have 18y. Where's your next move, you think?
Oh, okay, well, I had the same thing, but it's all over 4s.
Mhm.
I can,
Yeah. But what do you guys think is the next move?
so then, subtract y.
Subtract 3y from both sides, because you want to put the y to one side, right? If you take the 18y and subtract it over here, this is just gonna make a messy side. It's not gonna get us closer to the problem being done. So subtracting 3y is what we want to do. I have 30,
So y equals 2.
right, 15y. Is that what you got too?
I'm like kind of there, but that's why it's needed. Yeah, you can't.
Yeah, 2 is equal to y.
I have 30 over 4 equals 21 over 4y. Split.
Oh, because did you put the 4y in the denominator? That y shouldn't be in the denominator. Uh-huh. Now the negative that was here, oh, you change that to a plus.
Okay.
You didn't change all the negatives out.
Oh, okay. Oh, that's okay. That must have. What's wrong? Oh, yeah, because you multiplied it by -4.
Mhm.
Okay.
Now, if you just do 4, you just deal with negatives, that's all. It's not a big deal. Are we cool to move on, or I see you still writing, are we cool to move on, or? Okay. Any of these other things you want to do, any of the other,
I guess pretty easy.
hopefully, I hope that's true. Well, we can always double back, let's get these word problems out of the way then. There's 1, 2, 3 of them. I guess the other 2 didn't count as word problems. Do you want to take 5 minutes to try it?
I'd like to.
All right, let's try. I'm looking at the time. We do have some time, so we're at the word problems faster than I figured. So let's go ahead and you take a minute, give it a try. I haven't finished it yet. Okay. Anybody else feel good about where they're at right now in the problem? Alrighty then, guess I'll go up to it. All right, remember, the whole goal is to try to not to, notice it's only asking us for how many pounds of type A. Did you notice that?
Yeah.
We can call that X if you like, we can call A, whatever. A lot of times, I'll just call it X. How much then can I label the other amount?
Would it be X plus 110? Point
Down here. What are we gonna call type B? What will it be?
X plus 1.1?
No, X is the amount you're using, not the cost of it.
Oh.
So notice it says how many pounds of type A, so how much by weight did you purchase of type A?
So 166 minus
X.
X.
Right. Okay, so the way it works out is each of the things from A is gonna cost $4.30. And each of the things from B is going to cost $5.40. For a total of how much? $790.80. So each item A costs $4.30, each item B costs $5.40. Oh, yeah. And now you go ahead and put in the amounts. Now, see, you have to get to this point where you have only one letter left. Right now, we don't have the means to solve equations that involve more than one letter.
Oh, you don't have to put the zero in. Okay.
Yeah, I just dropped the zero.
There's nothing there. Yeah, I was like, wait, where did this go?
I distributed, and then I'm going to combine the x's now. So I have negative 1.1x plus 896.4 equals 790. 80. But I combine the 4.3 and a negative 5.4x. Now subtract 896.4.
Times 6. Oh. That equals negative 105.6.
Divide by negative 1.1, I think you get what, 96?
Yeah.
So let's see, since it said how many pounds, I don't have to say it was 96 pounds. Do you understand why? Because the question said, how many pounds did you have? Saying 96 is a perfectly reasonable way to answer that question. Now, the guy said, how much did you have? Now you need to tell me it's pounds. Good?
Yeah.
Good, okay. There's a formula that permeates these questions. Do you remember what it is? These motion questions, do you remember what it is? What'd you say? I didn't quite hear you.
What did you guys say?
These,
Sorry.
D equals RT, distance equals rate times time. Remember that?
Yes.
Take that, nice.
You said D over RT.
D equals RT.
Anybody think? You got it? What you got?
Do you put 8 over, do you put 8/21 and X/5?
No, although, yeah, I never thought about that. I never even thought about that. We didn't do it that way in class, if there is a way to do that. The problem is that the rates are not the same for both of them. The rates are different going there and coming home. Going there, let's say his rate, so we could break this down into going there and coming back. So he's going to the mountains. Remember the rule, the thing that is practical, every one of these is this equation, distance equals rate times time. It's in there in some shape, some form for all these types of problems. So what you could do is this, we could look at, let's say, let's go there. Say 2 there, then back home. Can you tell me the speed that this car was going? How fast was it going through there? And how fast was it going coming back?
21 mile an hour faster away.
So we don't know. We just know one's faster than the other. So going there was slower than coming home. Does that make sense? How long did it take to get there? 8 hours and to come home?
5 hours.
Three things. How far was it to? Don't know. We do not know, do we? In fact, if we say, how far does Carlos live away from the mountains? We should probably say that the distance is X, shouldn't we? Or D, you want to call it D? How far away does Carlos, let's just say how far away? So we can say, does Carlos live from the mountains? So the distance will be D. What will this distance be?
Same.
The same, right? So going there, we have distance equals R times 8, that's rate times time. And here we have the distance equals 21 plus R times 5. That's what usually happens. You know, I usually have to work, two different things like that. Not always, it depends. You tell me what I could do next, and anybody tell me what the next step is.
Would it be 21 plus R times 5 equals R times 8?
That's exactly right. Notice what you noticed here. This is the same distance for each of these, right? That means I can set this equal to this because they both equal the same thing. Does it make, do you guys understand what I'm saying? Okay. So I'm going to call it 8R instead of R times 8. 8R equals 5 times 21 plus R. I think not you guys probably know how to do this. 5 times 21 is 105. Okay. What do I do next?
Don't get to R, the rate line.
How would I do that?
let's see, so I'm gonna cancel out the five. So
Add 5R.
-5 is the same thing.
So I have 3R equals 105. Then to finish up, so what we're gonna get is an intermediate result. We're gonna be able to figure out what R is, but that's not the answer to the question. Question didn't ask us about R, did it? However, once I know R, I will know the distance. So I have R is equal to 35. Well, use either one of these equations to get your distance. So D equals, where'd they go? D is 8 times 35, which I believe is 280. Now, the question was, how far does he live from the mountains? Are you permitted to answer 280?
Yeah, this is.
No, I said, I'm asking you again. How far does he live from the mountains? And I say 280. Have I answered the question completely? I didn't say how many miles did he travel. I didn't supply the unit for you. So you have to tell me that it's miles, but it wasn't listed in the question. Questions?
So I did my own hours. I thought it was like, how far away? I thought you meant like by hour.
Oh, that's interesting. That is interesting. There are people that I've met that will give distances in terms like that.
That's immediately how I do it. Just
All right. You get it? On sale for 80% off. That's a 20% off. Yeah. Oh, 80% off, it's okay. That's what they did. Oh. This happens when they really need to get rid of their inventory. So it would just be. Yeah, whatever you're thinking, I think you need to flip it. Yeah. There's a multiple number of ways of doing this. Maybe the easiest is this.
What's the answer, 36?
I'm not even sure how to even do anything. 80% off the regular price. They're gonna take your 80%. You're gonna try to figure out how much 80% is of $45, right? Or in decimals, 0.8 times 45. I don't know what else to say. That's the answer. That's exactly the amount that you're discounting by.
Yeah.
Just, I got one more.
You could, another way to do this is you could take, the amount, you could take 2% or 20% times 45 and subtract that from
That's what I
45.
was like.
That will work. That will work. This is just the fastest way you're gonna get there. So if you want, is 80% of 45 equals what number, or is what number if you? All right, so we did, that's all of it. I don't know if we, I don't know if I did. I don't think I do bonus questions for this class. Let's see here. No, that's it. All right, now we can go through and do just about anything. I'll go back to the top if there's anything else here you wanted to grab. You want to do this bracketed one?
Yep. So we start with.
That X is a multiplication X. Okay. Well, according to PEMDAS, what should you do first?
I guess I'll just let up next. So we do,
Don't say out loud. I don't wanna. Why do you have that X in there? That's a multiplication, not an X. The very first thing you should have computed was the 15 plus 27. That is the innermost parentheses. What's the next thing I should be doing?
42 divided by 6 should
I guess I'm still, the brackets are no different from parentheses. So I have 3 times 2 plus 7.
So it's 3 times 9.
3 times 9. Remember, when you do finish off the parenthesis to drop it, it's no longer necessary. It'll just confuse you if you leave it there. Anything else you see here? I can scooch by you. Right. We did that one already. We did that. We did that one, we did that one. Now some of these equations. Did one. I don't see anything strange that you should be watching out for. Would you want to do any see that you like? Not this thing over here, I.
Yeah, I was looking at that too.
What do you think move number one would be?
Times 4.
Multiply everything by 4, exactly right, that's great. You do that. Right, because if you want to take that 4 out of there, right? So I usually make it look like this. Times 4 like this, you know? I'll apply it to that piece and to that piece. And like I said, if you need this help when you're doing a fraction multiplication, put the 4/1 and it'll help you out, I think. And you say that's the exact effect that we want, that we cancel out the 4s on the right. What do you want to do next?
And or subtract 12 from both sides.
Subtract 12 from both sides. Okay. Finish it off. Divide -5. And you end up with +8. Questions? Good. Hey, these are the things you see. What would you do for C, just real quick?
Multiply each side by 5.
That's
and
right.
Divide by 4.
Right. This one, you can, if you add 9 first and then multiply by 3, I think that would be just as simple as multiplying by 3 first. What do you do with these things? What's the first step? Distribute through. I'll do any of these you want me to do if you want. If not, you can see the answers in Blackboard. There, remember I put the answers there. If you want me to do one, that's fine. I'll do one.
You said, what did we just?
Part C. So what did we say you did for part C?
Multiply each side by 5.
Multiply each side by 5. What would you get if you multiplied that by 5? Let me pull it in, might as well.
Was it 1 4 times 5 is 20, so 120.
Yep, you guys, you're gonna get there. It's already big and looks good, but I'll make it bigger. All right, multiply both sides by 5. We're gonna have 4b equals 5 times 24. Which is what, 120?
Yeah.
And to finish it off,
Divide each side by 4, so 30.
divide both sides by 4. There's. Whenever I come across something that I see that could be made more efficient, I try to do so. I'll just show you real quick, although I don't think that this problem could be much more simple than anything. I would like to go here for a second. You don't have to, please don't even bother. I could have done this at this stage. And gotten 30 that way. You know what I'm saying? I did it as fast as can be so that you wouldn't bother writing it down. Okay? You got it? I really don't see anything that's gonna be, you're just, this is, I would assume, when you do a test, do you do the problems you know how to do first?
Yeah, because.
Okay, I just want to make sure everybody, because a math test, you get stuck on one problem, it could ruin your whole test because then you're getting all stressed as you watch the time dwindling to nothing, you know? So try it. One student said, what if you don't know how to do anything first? I'm like, well, I don't know what you do then. That's it. If you have any other questions that you want to ask me, feel free. You're free to go. You can stay here if you want to take up some more of my time. But everybody else is free to go.
Are we allowed to use calculator?
Yes, oh, absolutely.
Calculators are allowed to.
What'd you say?
Calculators are allowed as well.
Yes.
That's what you just asked me.
Thanks.
Oh, you didn't.
Professor, are we doing the test on paper or on?
Paper, yeah. We've decided to come to class to take it.
Okay.
All right. Okay, I'll see you guys on, sure.
Thank you.
Go ahead and stop all this business. All right. You too.
Hey, what's wrong about 15?
The same size.